Steph got the juice, keep the show on fire. Josh brings the news straight from the source with no desire. The judge, our wise advisor, keeps us in line. Fresh from the comic shop, showcase your design. Ask Joe the comic book ninja for insights to explore. The popcorn gets to know you from straight to the core. I guess I'll have to think, cause we make some freaks. So much more to discover, this show's a hit. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. So let's start.
Let's start the show, because anything can happen on a comic book.
Wait.
Yeah,
We're supposed to look like this.
Yeah.
Not like that.
I fixed it.
Good.
You messed
We
it
fixed
up.
it.
I fixed it.
Listen, hold on 1 second. Also, are you copying me with the hat here?
Maybe you're copying me.
Let
us know in the comments who's copying who, because I think obviously this is kind of my style every once in a while. Y'all know that. Joe likes to copy other people's styles. He doesn't even have his own style, to be honest with you. So thanks a lot for copying my tattoo. Also, Joe, that was weird. But anyways, yeah, it was weird. Anyways, welcome to episode 220 of Comic Book Canon. Please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. With episode 220, we have our featured episode issue, Joseph. And Dan De La Torre, he brought in a good one here. I like this one right here. The cover's awesome. I know you've seen this one here and there before. This is Amazing Spider-Man 220 to coincide with our episode 220. Spider-Man teams up with Moon Knight to dismantle a criminal syndicate from within. Moon Knight infiltrates the organization by feigning a turn to crime, with Spider-Man aiding covertly, leading a strategic takedown of the syndicate's leadership. This issue is titled A Coffin for Spider-Man, was written by Michael Fleischer and Mike W. Barr, with artwork by Bob LeCloud and Win Mortimer, and edited by the great Denny O'Neil. Joseph, have you seen these out there? Have you sold these out there? Talk to me.
Yeah, there's a couple of crossovers from this era between Moon Knight and Spider-Man in Spectacular Spider-Man, and in this and in Moon Knight. And I like to affectionately call their team-ups Spoon Knight. Spider-Man, Moon Knight, put it together. Spoon Knight. This is one of those books. This one probably has the best cover. And no surprise, it's when you have like a timeless classic like Win Mortimer, who was a Golden Age artist, famous for mostly his work on Batman, working on some good old Bronze Age. This probably was near the end of his career, but still killing it with the pen. Really great stuff. And who doesn't love Bronze Age ASM?
For sure. Really nice stuff right there. But this is also, I neglected to mention that this is the first meeting of Spider-Man and Moon Knight. So that's a very nice piece of history. And Dan De La Torre is doing a great job with our featured episode issue each and every week. Speaking of each and every week, we're here each and every week most of the time. Pretty much, I'd say we miss maybe 4 weeks a year.
Something like that.
Out of 52, come on, guys, cut us some slack. We will refund some of your money because of that. I know you guys do complain about that. But we love being here each and every week. We love jumping right into things as well. I do have to say real quick, we have the featured episode. I'm sorry, not the featured episode. Fresh from the Comic Shop Book of the Year going on with all of this voting and stuff. We have not neglected the March voting, where we have Kate's Comics waiting in the wings. She's in the finals to go up against either Mark Leneker or Super Crispy. We will get the Super Crispy Mark Leneker vote going on this week, and we'll get the finals going on this week as well. We also had the Final Four for Fresh from the Comic Shop Book of 2024 coming up. We'll give you the results of that. We'll also get that going on this week. There's a lot going on with the voting at this time of year, with coinciding with March Madness. It's always madness. And you know what else is maddening, Joe?
What?
How much news has been coming down the pipeline? And all right?
Yeah, lots of news stuff coming out all the time, both on the big screen, the small screen, as well as in the comic store, obviously where this hobby originated.
Yep, for sure. And with that, we have our man on the streets, the news editor of Comic Book Canon, Josh, who brings us the news.
Josh delivers the news and rumors.
There we are, Josh. You do deliver the news and rumors each and every week, and we're glad that you do. You do a wonderful job with that. I have to say something. I have to confess something, Josh. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
2 weeks ago at King Con, I saw you in action, and I just started taking video of you without you knowing, and I apologize. I also apologize for editing it as well. But guys, if you ever wonder what Josh does, how much work he puts into the news and rumors, I mean, this video right
Hold on,
here.
this is some confidential stuff that that I had to keep under wraps. Jeff, you filmed me without my permission?
It was there. It was for, I mean, Joe, you were kind of there within earshot of this, and you kind of gave me this look like, yo, just record this. And I think both of us we had the same, because, obviously this is the most successful YouTube show of all time. And it's because we get moments like this, Josh. And sorry if we're ruining any, everybody just watch. Just see Josh in action. We'll deal with the ramifications later.
Listen, James, I'm excited to see Superman. I think it's going to be great. Right. Hey, hold on for a second. I got to take this other call real quick. I'll talk to you in a minute, James. Alan Richardson. Really? Well, look, I've been hearing the casting news. I heard you want to play Batman and you do it for free. I have James Gunn on hold right now. Listen, let me tell you something. I will get you in the film if you want. I think you'd kill it. Hello. Hey, Kevin, what's up, man? I tell you what, look. I know a guy, okay? I want you to take Ryan Gosling. I want you to cast him as Ghost Rider. I listen, a lot of people depend on my news every week. I have over 30 million viewers. People watch in. I need to know. Look, I got another call coming in. Hello? Hey, Dwayne, what's up? I was just talking to Kevin like a couple minutes ago. You want to be in the new X-Men movie as a Poplar. Listen, I will talk to Kevin. We'll try to get in a new X-Men film. All right, look, I got to go. I got to sell some comics, but I will definitely let you know what Kevin says, all right? All right, man.
I mean, right there. It's action-packed, your days. Go ahead, Josh.
You're showing the people how I get my news and rumors. On top of that, I got Kevin, I got James. Now they're gonna see this. If this gets out like wildfire, Jeff, I may no longer get any news and rumors for you guys.
Okay, well, here's the deal. Let us know in the comments what you think. Do you like seeing Josh behind the news, or do you like seeing behind the scenes of Josh getting the news? Let us know. Maybe we'll do this some more without him knowing. Joshua, if we've discredited you in any way, too bad. We'll find somebody else to do the news. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I hope we don't have to do that because I'll probably end up bearing all that weight. And the whole reason that I hired Josh was because I was too lazy to keep doing the news myself.
No, you're too busy being the CMO, the CFO, as well as the co-CEO.
And HR department.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's a lot of work for all of us. But please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Let's get into the news, Joshua. What do we got?
Yeah, so we had CinemaCon, if I'm not mistaken, happen last week. A whole week full of announcements from all the different studios, especially for comic book fans. And let's start off with some Marvel. So we got some great news that Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse will arrive in theaters on June 4th, 2027. And it's going to be the final film for that. I'm actually kind of excited for this. I'm not a huge animation guy unless it's like a DC like Batman. But you know what? I'm probably going to see this. I did watch the other two previous films, and I thought it was pretty, they were pretty good. So I'm looking forward to this.
First of all, this is not good news. This is 2027. When was the last one that came out? 2 years ago? This is not good news. Huh? Yeah. This is.
That's not that long. 3 years is pretty typical for a sequel. 4 years is not that bad.
No, it should have came out last year, I do believe. It was scheduled to come out last year, and it didn't. I know the writer's strike and the pandemic had something to do with it, but
I would much rather them take 4 years and put out a good product than take 2 years and put out a medium product.
I get it. I'm just, Y'all know about me and
How many
Spider-Man.
years are we in between Batman and Batman Part 2 currently right
I'm
now?
not okay with that either.
How long was Top Gun and Top Gun
Oh,
Maverick?
stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Anyways, let us know what
Beetlejuice, Joe, or Jeff.
let us
Whatever.
you're getting I can't stand you. Let us know what you all think about this 2027, how you feel. If you just want it out now, or you're okay to wait. I get it. I'm all about the product. I understand production too, by the way. I do know that they could have, I don't know, the Chris Miller and the other guy probably had a lot of stuff going on. I get it. They're very popular and they have a lot going on. So what have you. I just really want to see this film. I loved both of them so much. So that's where my kind of I'm losing patience because of that. So Joshua, what's up next? What do we have?
So look, that's not the only Spider-Man news we got. On July 31st of next year, Spider-Man 4 comes out, but we got an official title. It's going to be called Spider-Man Brave New Day. Oh, sorry, Brand New Day. My bad. And you know what? Comic sellers are going through the roof about this because they know they're sitting on a gold mine right now. Like Joe, I saw him last weekend. He sold 50 copies of this book, right? $100 a pop. It's unbelievable. But no, not really. No, he didn't really do that. But yeah, so Spider-Man, Brand New Day, and obviously it is, named after a certain comic, which has a certain first appearance of a villain. So we're going to have to see what happens here. But you know what? All of the Spider-Man films with, Homecoming and No Way Home have all been wonderful. I loved every single one of them. And Brand New Day, technically after No Way Home, is a brand new day for Peter Parker. So I'm looking forward to this and seeing what Sony and Marvel can put together for this film.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to do this. I mean, in the comics, for those of you who aren't ASM readers, there was the run, the One More Day run, which ends up with people's memories being erased about the existence of Spider-Man and the identity of Peter Parker and everything. Not by Doctor Strange, it's by Mephisto in the comics, but it's a whole nother story. And then they started Brand New Day, which, it was almost like a soft reboot. Did introduce some characters that I'm hoping we do see that I've been mentioning for a while now. And either way, I'm very happy that this is happening. Like Josh said, the first 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies have all been solid. They've all lent to the MCU, both the character of Spider-Man as well as, other things happening and other character development and things like that. So yeah, I'm really excited about this movie, and even more excited at the fact that we're getting this movie in just over a year. And 3 months at this point? A little over a year and 3 months. So, fingers crossed they do a good job and don't rush it. I'm a little bit worried about that, but at the same time, they've done a really good job with the other Spider-Man movies, and we know Tom Holland fits the role really well.
Yeah, I'm okay with this release date because it feels closer. I'm very excited about what they're going to be doing here. Granted, after No Way Home came out, his life completely changed. Like it was incredible how much of a reset button he got. With a lot of heartbreak, but also kind of just like a fresh new way to go about things because the whole world knew he was Spider-Man. So I'm excited for this. I can't wait. I do hope there are some rumors out there, Joshua, that I'm surprised you didn't bring up. I should have told you, but Mr. Negative, potential casting, So
well, the whole interesting thing about this is the film's set in between Secret Wars and Doomsday. Well, Doomsday and Secret Wars. And we'll talk a little bit later about this, but there was an announcement for casting for Doomsday. And surprisingly, Tom hasn't been announced yet to even appear in Doomsday. So there's some speculation as to, will this take place after Doomsday? Does it take place during the events? So that's something that I'm working on. I'm looking more into and maybe have more info in a couple weeks for you guys. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I actually said this a while ago. We don't know that Spider-Man's going to be in Doomsday. Obviously there's a huge connection with him and Tony Stark that they're probably going to play off of, but maybe they go a different route. Spider-Man is kind of resetting, And in my opinion, it would be best for him to be more of a street level character, as he's mainly portrayed as.
Yeah.
And I would love to see more of that Spider-Man before we go, multiversal cosmic Spider-Man stuff going on with the whole wrap up of these couple of phases of the MCU. That's just my opinion. I mean, they can keep going with this like more universal Spider-Man, but I mean, I'd love to see a very grounded, New York City Peter, especially with what we're getting right now in the Daredevil show.
Yeah, I'm with you right there. That's the Spider-Man I grew up on right there. Not having these cosmic adventures, and I'm not disappointed in that as well. But we haven't seen the grounded hero in the MCU yet. And the way, and we'll get into it later, but the way Daredevil has been playing out, that's the kind of character that'd be really cool to see. That's the kind of setting that would be really cool to see with this character. So I'm very excited about that. Before we get to the next
hold on, this right here, also factual information, but
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I watched my cousin Vinny the other day.
Great.
I was about to say, man, her in that film is just like, whew.
She won an Academy Award for that, right?
She should have won every award ever.
That's fair enough. All right, before we move on to the next story, please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. I mean, come on. We are the #1 show on YouTube, and there's no way you haven't liked and subscribed. So just want to throw that out there. Joshua, our next news story.
Yeah, so DC also Warner Brothers did a panel, and of course we had some DC news, and this got me excited because we finally got confirmation that the first animated movie to take place in the DCU will be the dynamic duo with Jason Todd and Dick Grayson. And we didn't get a clip online that didn't leak, unfortunately, but I heard that there's a really great shot of Dick Grayson riding on the top of the subway, and we get to see the first official look at the DCU Batmobile, but it ends up crashing like into a bridge. So that's it. It's a little mysterious in how things work out, but knowing that, okay, this is set in the DCU, obviously we know now Damian Wayne's coming in as a young Robin. So obviously we got Dick, and then we got Jason. So I'm stoked for this. I want these two to be in there, and to see two older brothers that are on two different sides, and to see them, how they're going to team up and how this is going to go down. And it's going to be an animation film just like Into the Spider-Verse. I hear they're going to do some like puppet animation. They're going to do some weird things. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a weird film, but I heard from the footage they showed, it looked amazing and people were hyped. So I'm all up for this. Been dying, other than the Teen Titans show that we got on for a couple of seasons, I've been wanting more Dick Grayson and Jason Todd on the big screen. So here we go.
Yeah,
now,
before
you get into it, Joe, real quick, I want to call you out, Joshua, for saying you don't like animated films, and you kind of you didn't quite shit on
unless it's Batman or Batman related. I really don't care for it. So okay, DC all the way.
I just wanted to throw it out, and I'll just say I'm excited for this as well because I like all comic book genre projects. So I'm open
and knowing
to this,
that either Dick or Jason could beat Spider-Man up in hand-to-hand combat. It's what I mean?
What do y'all think? Who would win in a fight, Dick Grayson or the Red Hood versus Spider-Man? Let us know what
Spider-Man.
your thoughts. Joseph, you have thoughts. Go ahead.
I have thoughts. I am very excited about this. I've long said that Jason is a better Red Hood than he ever was a Robin. Dick is a very good Robin, probably my second favorite, at least tied for second with Tim Drake, but also just does an amazing job as Nightwing as well. And it makes sense because there are other Robins to have these two characters in their other roles for the DC universe and not have either of them be Robin, because there are two other very good Robins that we got. That being said, this gets me super stoked. If you watch the Titans show, the live action show that was on Max for the last couple years, the dynamics between these two characters were so good, and I would love to see that whether it's in an animated show or another live action take on it. Can't wait for this.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you're looking forward to this. I certainly am. I'm looking forward to everything DCU. Like Creature Commandos has really kicked this thing off, and we're gonna get Superman coming soon, and I cannot wait. We'll be talking.
We're
about
talking about that next.
Oh, well, there you go. That sets you up perfectly, Joshua. What do we have?
Yeah, so James Gunn released a new teaser. It was a couple minute clip of Superman, and it really took me away. I really love the way this is looking. I love the way it's shot. I think it really, gives you the vibes of hope. I don't like dark, crampy Superman. And of course here, we start off with a scene. No idea, by the way, what happened. Obviously, Superman got beat down bad. Whether it was
probably by Spider-Man.
Yeah. But, you see the man sitting over here and he's bleeding. Probably Batman, honestly. Who knows? But
Batman with a lot of prep time.
Anyways,
this movie, I'm very excited for it. I keep going back and forth. Earlier this morning I was talking with Mike Popachilli Town about which one I'm more excited for, and I was saying Fantastic Four then, but now I'm watching this again, and this is on the screen, and it's getting me hyped up. We've got Crypto here, and yeah, I mean, both visually look really awesome. Kind of a different take on the superhero genre, seemingly from both movies. This one probably a little bit more traditional, but still like new, fresh, and I like that. So. Oh, man,
this is shot like, I mean, literally, this is like taking pages out of a comic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is how I feel. And we're getting a lot of people online that are saying, well, Crypto's not acting like a real dog. A real dog that would know that you're hurt and stuff wouldn't be jumping on you, wouldn't be playing. But you know what? It's Crypto, and James Gunn said this. He's pretty much in his puppy stage. He wants to play. Obviously, you can see that. I love his ears too, and I love, by the way, we don't hear the score playing right now, but the score does play in this, and it sounds beautiful. And I love what they did with the fortress.
Look at it. In other adaptations, right there, beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, the other adaptations of the fortress was that it was already built in place, and this makes more sense because, like, somebody could fly and find it somewhere, as compared to here, it's under the ground. I mean, I just, and James Gunn said that, he was going for a Silver Age vibe for Superman. And I literally get this off of this scene. So I don't care what anybody says. I'm excited for this. I think this is going to do well. And of course, we get, some more lore with the robots helping Superman out.
Here's my thoughts on this, and I know you said that you don't like the dark, gritty tone that DC has taken with their properties in the past, their past iterations. I liked Man of Steel. I thought that was a really good film, good way to start up DCEU. I thought that was the best out of all of them that they had, I would say. So really? I really did. I thought that was the best. No
better
doubt
than
about
Wonder
that.
Woman?
Oh, I thought it was much better. I liked Wonder Woman, but Man of Steel was better than Wonder Woman, in my opinion. Now, this right here, though, I have full faith, and I've been saying this from the get-go. I know Dan has other thoughts, but I've been saying it from the get-go that I have full faith in James Gunn, his love for comics, his love for the characters, his love for the lore of where they came from, who they are, and who they are at their core. Also mixing in his kind of weird humor. You always get humor in a James Gunn film, but a ton of heart, and I am so excited for what this is going to bring us. You saw Hawkgirl there, Mr. Terrific. You're going to see Metallo, Guy Gardner. It's going to be great. I'm super excited for this. And Joe, you said you don't know what you're more excited for, this or the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth.
I can't put them against each other because I'm just excited we're going to get this. Yeah. We're going to get both of these within weeks. And it's a great summer here for comic book movies for sure.
Now, I just want to point one thing out too. The scene got cut a little bit early, but when he gets strapped in and they hit the sun on him and he starts getting rehealed, a lot of people are also upset about that. but I don't think people understand. They even stay in the scene. He has multiple broken bones, ruptured spleen. His body is getting repaired for the sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with, I love Zack Snyder. I die on the hill, man. I loved all of the films that he made, the Justice League. I wish we got a continuation, but it's not happening, right? But everybody, he made Superman invincible, like an invincible god that even when he gets hurt, he doesn't show any weakness. And so people are upset because, Superman's rehealing through the sun, and his bones are getting reset, his organs are getting repaired. That's gonna hurt him. And I think what looks better is you're showing that Superman, not even in his mind, Superman considers himself not a god. You know what I mean? So I got full faith in James Gunn. I think this film probably will reach $1 billion, and I think we're in for a real treat. And I'm going to say this. I honestly think this film may end up being better than the Christopher Reeves film.
Oh, whoa. Blasphemy. Just move on to the next damn story, please. Wow.
You guys ready to move on now?
You're making waves.
Yeah, let's move on.
You are making waves. You are going to get a lot of...
We're going to jump back into some Marvel, but we're going to talk about a fantastic show that we've got right now going on. That's Daredevil. This show has been phenomenal from the start all the way up to the last episode we just got last week. Seeing Matt, take a vow of silence kind of and try not to do violence. But, man, he always gets that calling. He gets called back in. And this is probably the most brutal scenes, I want to say, ever in the MCU so far. I don't think anything tops what we've seen in here.
I mean, Deadpool is Deadpool. You're going to expect that. But
but if you're doing like a street hero kind of thing, I mean, it's just...
Yeah, you're not, with Deadpool, you're getting him taking adamantium fingers and putting him in eye sockets and things like that. This here is like straight up knuckle brawls, and it's just crazy.
It's just the acting, Charlie and Vincent are just like tremendous actors, and every scene with them, you're glued to the TV. I do like some of the supporting new characters we have. I kind of wish they would have brought some of the other ones back instead and swapped some out, but it is what it is. And I just want to say, Daredevil right now to me is just one of the best shows out there. Check it out if you haven't. We still got 2 more episodes left. On Tuesday, we got the second to last episode, and I can't wait because I've heard great things. So I'm loving this show, and hopefully you gentlemen are too.
Go, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the original. I will say that is the original show is my favorite Marvel live action thing ever. This is good. It's definitely good. It definitely has that same vibe. It has not quite captured me as much as the original show, but we still have 2 episodes left, so that could turn around. I don't see it surpassing the original, but getting up to par with it. It definitely is paced very nicely. Lot of character development. The violence is really great. And the acting is, like we saw in the show, really top notch, and the castings are perfect.
Yeah, I agree too. Like, again, the acting is episode 3 is just unbelievable. Like the actors are on point, but the director is phenomenal. But like, what I'll say here, I haven't seen the last episode, which is episode 7. They dropped 6 and 7 at the same time. I'm going to blame Alicia for that. She's been totally into this series, and she's watching it from the start while also watching this, and kudos to her, but she has been just really holding me back. And
actually, they didn't drop 6 and 7 together. That was 5 and 6. Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, you're right. And then I haven't seen 7, so I'm really disappointed in her. However, I've enjoyed the series immensely. I think it fits in perfectly with the whole, 1 through 3 as well. It's just they've done an incredible job. I'm so psyched that they have a season 2 that they're in production right now. And again, like, kudos to the whole team. I wish we could give like a full on review, but I'm the one holding everybody back, which is actually Alicia holding everybody back. So blame Alicia. But yeah, great, fantastic. I'm excited. And if you guys have seen pictures for the next season, very excited for that as well. Joshua.
Yeah, so the last big thing we're going to talk about, something that, there was a big announcement from Marvel. Nobody was sure what it was. And they dropped actually some casting announcement for Doomsday, about 27 different names. Some big names, some names that I think most of us expected to see, but there was some surprises in there. So we got a lot of the Avengers obviously reappearing, Thor, Bucky, Black Panther, but we also got some great surprises, which I wasn't expecting. And we're going to have the original Fox X-Men return. That's including great. Joe's favorite, Nightcrawler, is coming back as well. Speaking of which, the actor just announced that he is currently flying right now over to the UK. He's already done some makeup testing, so he's getting ready to film, obviously. But what is also interesting is this took about, I think it was over a 5.5-hour video.
Yep.
So they started just showing the back of actors' names on chairs, and every 15 minutes or so, they would go to the next chair, And then you got to see Ant-Man's chair, which was Paul Rudd, who had a small little chair, which I loved. But you kept having the reveal, and then at the very end, Robert Downey Jr. was sitting in his chair that came in, and of course, he's playing as Doom. But what's very interesting is why Kevin was at CinemaCon. He also announced that this is only half the casting announcement.
That's crazy.
We still have plenty of more actors to announce as they get closer to shooting. Some people are speculating that the first bunch of casting we got are going to be the main players. I don't know how you're going to do this, because this film is going to probably be at least 3 hours long. You already got 27 different names. If you add even 10 or 15 more characters, how are we going to do this? I don't know, but I'm excited for this, and I also think there will be a few surprise characters in there that they will not announce. But yeah, so Doomsday is filming currently right now. We're about to begin production and start filming, I think, in the next week or two. So expect maybe some leaks here and there, but I think mostly they're going to have that covered, so we're not too spoiled.
Very excited because this also is coming out next year too. So super happy. The announcement, I tuned in and I'm like, okay, when are they going to start this thing? Because all you saw were chairs, and I'm like, oh, hell no, I am not doing this. So it was kind of brilliant marketing because they hyped it up. You knew there was an announcement coming on that day, but at the same time, I was like, I don't have time for this. But again, the X-Men surprised me quite a bit, but everybody else I think didn't. And I'm excited to see what more they say. Probably Comic-Con will have a lot of information coming out as well.
Sure.
So we can probably count on that. Let us know what you think about the announcement in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Joshua, what's up? What's next?
Yeah, so we're getting some rumors. This is very interesting. There was a surprise person that did film some scenes for Fantastic Four that did an after-party picture with Pedro. We're still not sure who it was. And I don't think it's the person who I'm about to mention this, because you can tell from the chin alone. But Chris Evans has reportedly been rumored to appear at the end of Fantastic Four in an end credit scene. So again, take that as a rumor. Who knows? Chris has said that he's done with Marvel. He's done playing superheroes. Yet he still showed up in Deadpool and Wolverine. And he was, I think, the Hollywood Reporter officially announced that he signed on to star in Doomsday, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm thinking about this, and if this ends up being true, and who could he be? I mean, he could be a different character. My thought was this: what if he's Steve Rogers from Endgame returning the stones
Yeah.
And as he's returning the
Yeah.
stones, Doom comes out and he realizes he's got to get rid of, universes or put stuff back in order. So maybe Chris is trying to get away from him and it ends up in Fantastic Four's universe or something like that, or who knows. But I think it's interesting, and I think there's gonna be a lot more hype, especially when that other trailer comes out for Fantastic Four. And this box off, July is gonna be a great time for comic book fans with Superman and Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I had the same exact thought, Josh, that it could. I actually thought a little bit different, but that would have been a different universe if he goes back in time, which is supposed to be when the Fantastic Four is set, and reunites with Peggy. But yeah, man, I hope that kind of plays into the whole thing. I think that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of different situations that can come up here. Alternate universe, Johnny Storm, like we saw him already. I don't think they'll do that again. Seems a little weird.
Yeah,
but I do think Steve Rogers, whether it's Steve Rogers as Captain America, as Captain Hydra, that's been also rumored and speculated upon, or as Nomad. I think we could see, of a Nomad version of the character, kind of getting away from Captain America. Maybe that's the role that he takes on while returning the stones, like Josh said. But we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Real quick, I want to address a comment right here. Can we talk about how kick-ass the new Tron trailer looks? I haven't seen it yet. That's ridiculous.
I can. So I'm not a big Tron fan, but I did see it, and it's literally them coming into our world.
Oh,
and it looks. Some of the action. There's a scene where he's on the bike, and I guess it cuts like fire or something out of the bike, and there's a police car. And literally, like, it just shows two cops, like, as the car splits apart from the bike and everything. So it looks pretty good. I mean, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of it, but
I definitely want to. I can't wait for that for sure. All right, and finally, we have one more rumor or not. Maybe it's. I don't even know, man.
I don't even know. I mean, at this point, this. I don't think this film's coming out. Blade is rumored. It's rumored that Marvel has canceled Blade.
Yeah.
This movie we've been talking about this for the last couple of years. This movie has gone through directors, has gone through writers. Last update we had officially was that it wasn't going to move forward, and they were locked down on a story, and they were happy with it. But the problem kind of right now, I think, is that Blade's story is like he's not a multiverse, technically in the multiverse. You know what I mean? They want to fit him into an original story, and since they're trying to wrap up the multiverse, they may end up having to wait quite a few years to introduce him. But by the time that happens, the actor who's playing him is already in his 40s, if not 50s. So he might be getting, old of age. On top of that, I don't know. I don't feel like this film's going to happen. I just don't think it will. I mean, at this point, man, just, make a Elseworlds Blade movie with Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, I don't know about bringing Wesley Snipes back again. I don't think that's necessary, but I think that it is, Josh, kind of what you said, best to postpone this. The character doesn't really fit in with the whole multiverse thing. If they just ditch this for now, recast, or, maybe Mahershala Ali still wants to do it down the line.
In 5 years, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's in his 30s, right? He's in his 30s now.
I thought he was in his 40s. I couldn't even say.
Is he in his 40s now? Yeah. I thought he was maybe 38, 39.
I'll check it.
It doesn't matter. Either way, he's fine playing the role. Let's be real. If he doesn't want to do it, though, they can just cast someone else. There are other actors that can do the job. So
he's 51 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He looks great.
He really does. So you guys are right. It needs to hold off. I've said this before. I'm kind of tired of the multiverse, chapters we have of the MCU. I'm looking forward to it kind of ending in a nice bow tie on it in 2 years. 2 years is Secret Wars.
2027.
Yeah. So you guys are right about this, as disappointing as it is. You should hold off. This character deserves the story to be told in the right way. Not only because of that, and they can't factor this in the story or what have you, but the fact that Blade is so important to the MCU and Marvel. right? So important. It saved Marvel from bankruptcy. So
Yep.
I think it deserves to be done right. It's been a mess, an absolute mess. Just hold off, push pause.
I mean, when did they announce this? In like 2018?
No,
Man,
2021 or 2020, 2021.
it was on stage, so it was not during the pandemic years.
Was it before
2019?
the pandemic years or after? I think it was
I don't
before.
remember. We're gonna have to look this up. That's how messed up this whole
Yeah.
thing is. So we
All
can look
good.
that up for sure. But I think that wraps up the news. Is that correct, Joshua?
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've done a fantastic job yet again on the news. We thank you for your hard work, as you know, as well as that behind the scenes. Let's hope that nothing comes from that in terms of your connections. Right. And if so, we'll just, we'll find somebody else, right?
I literally got Kevin.
Yeah, we'll just find somebody else. It can't be that difficult, right, Joe?
No, I mean, no.
No, not at all. But here's the deal. We're glad that you guys join us each and every week. We thank you so much so that we give you this segment to ask Joe and Jeff any questions you want, and we answer them, or he answers them, then I jump in as well. So get those questions ready, right? Get those questions ready right now. We're going to come back after we share our pick of the week with you, which will be coming out this Wednesday for New Comic Book Day.
It's the comic book canon. Pick of the week.
The desert burns, the storm rolls in. Geiger's back, let the glow begin. Face to face with power untamed. Ashley Arden's driving, can he do the same? Radioactive, the stakes are tight. Post-war world in a glowing fight. The custodian's back with secrets to show. Junkyard Joe's name in the undertow. Third volume deep. The saga expands, one glowing man with fate in his hands. If you want heart, if you want fear, jump into the fire. It's Geiger number 13!
Joe, I love Geiger. By the way, each and every week, original song with our pick of the week. Keep that in mind. I love Geiger. Love Geiger, Joe. And I know you said you would jump on something new. This is not starting out from the beginning, but maybe look for another Ghost Machine title out there.
Well, I actually did read the first couple issues as it was coming out.
I love it.
Yeah, I think I hopped on at Geiger 3, and my shop had like second printings of issue 1 and a couple issue 2s left. So I was able to. I think I read the first 3, and I think I have the first 6. And just never got around to reading them, but it's interesting for sure. It's really cool.
The whole universe is great. That Gary Frank art too. The first time I encountered Gary Frank was during that. It was like in the 2010s or something. Superman origin story that Gary Frank's version of Superman looked like Christopher Reeve. It was incredible. It was really blew me away, and I've been a fan of his ever since. So
yeah. I first heard about him in that movie, Gary Frank.
What is that from?
There's that movie, Glenn. What is it? Glenn Wayne, Gary Wayne.
Glenn Ross or something?
Glenn Wayne, Gary Wayne.
I have no idea what that is. If you know what Joe's talking about, please let us know in the comments.
I'm burnt out. I'm babbling on a Sunday night.
You sound great to me. Like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Let's say hello to everybody before we get into Joe. Ask Joe. Put your questions in the chat right now. We got
Glenn Ross.
That's what I said. I said that. Derek Neiman coming through. What's up, Goonish Lurker? How are you? Nucking Futz is telling us we have to watch Kevin Bacon's Bondsman. Really good series. We have Caleb Leland in the house. We have Kate's Comics in the house. She agrees with us that we have to get Blade right. Who else do we have in the house? We got lots of people in the house. Jordan Norrie in the house. We will be telling our grandchildren about the Blade movie that never was. I mean, it's possible, but let's hope it doesn't happen. We have, who else do we have? T-Shoe in the house. I love this. I brought this comment up. Isn't it ironic that it's called Born Again and everybody is dying? That is well said right there. Kaboom Comics. Rumor report, Jeff likes Wonder Woman. I mean, I do like Wonder Woman. I liked the film Wonder Woman, and yeah, why not? Mike Hags is in the house. Who else? We got Spud. We haven't seen Spud. Lexi is in the house. Lexi, how are you? It's good to see you. Hope everything is well on your end for sure. Dr. Plagueis. By the way, Dr. Plagueis just moved into a new house. Dr. Plagueis has a show every Tuesday night, 9:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Pacific. Check it out. But he, I believe he took my advice. He's going to be moving his comic book room into his main bedroom, and his wife said that was cool. So good work on that. Really happy for you there, Dr. Plagueis. Who else? We have, God, we got Dan De La Torre is in the house, of course. What's up? Who else? Joe, we got a lot of fun people. Nikita Kare in the house. I think he was saying that I'm looking good with my hat backwards. You're not looking good with your hat backwards. Just want to say that's, hello. We got John. Heroes Were Born. Good times, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Like and subscribe if you have not done so already, because we have this segment that we call
Ask Joe, Ask Joe, Ask Joe, Joe. Ask Joe, and Jeff.
Look at Dr. Plagueis denying the fact that he moved his whole comic book room into his main bedroom.
Denying it.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Also,
I give great advice.
I've never heard this ever.
I don't see that at all.
You look more like Evan Boss. Actually, maybe he meant to say Jeff. Knuckin' Futz. Did you mean Jeff? Because Jeff looks more like him than I do, for sure.
That's Joe. This is Jeff. I've never heard that myself either about me. But
this is Josh.
Maybe it's Josh. He was in mid chew, but also in mid Anyways, that was well done right there for sure. So there's the clarification right there. Dr. Plagueis, look at you leaking things right here. We got some CBC goodness. We do. I don't even know if I told you, Joe and Josh and Dan, but I'll let you guys in after the show. Ooh. We'll talk about it, but I'll tell you what, Dr. Plagueis, not just a great friend to the whole community here. All right, we're going to hop into it. Get your questions in for Ask Joe.
And Jeff.
We're going to start off with Kate right now. We do have a live one from Dan, I do believe. Joe, Ask Joe and Jeff, are your pull lists expanding in 2025 too? Feel like I've been adding more than removing from my pull list the last few months. Joe, this is going to be hard for you. I know that. Yeah,
I'm so behind on reading. I actually have trimmed mine down even more. I recently cut off Ultimate X-Men. I stopped getting that after issue 12. I cut off Spider-Boy after issue 12, which I think was a while ago. I'm really only getting Amazing Spider-Man and TMNT now. And I definitely want to add something, especially I don't have any DC books right now. So I've been kind of skipping the whole Ultimate thing. Absolute thing. I've been kind of skipping that. It's just time. Time is such a thing, and I know the Absolute stuff is going to cross over with each other, so I'm like trying to avoid having to read other issues and things like that. So maybe I'll go back to like Batman at some point, or if there's like a good limited series, I'll pick that up and read it. But I've just been so far behind on reading that it's been just a struggle to like even buy stuff that I know I'm not going to read for a while. Well,
I've actually been paring mine down more than I've been adding to it. I've been surprisingly, I've been keeping my DC pretty consistent with the Absolutes and like Green Lantern series, but I have actually pared down most of my Marvel. I other than I do Ultimate Marvels as well, but I stopped X-Men, I stopped Black Panther. But again, I've been Image Comics, man, with the Energon universe, I know it's hilarious at this point, but I'm serious. But Energon universe and Ghost Machine, like I'm all in on those. I freaking love them. So those are I haven't been adding. Kate, let us know what you're adding too. What you're having trouble. What you're having trouble with. We would like to know that for sure. But I'm actually doing a little research for for Caleb's question. But Joe, why don't you shout out the other one?
Yeah. Let me go find it.
Sorry.
This is from Josh. If you could be any villain for one day, which would you choose to be? Man, this is really tough because so many of the villains in comics have like super cool abilities, but then there's other characters that I like more that I would like kind of want to see their perspective and stuff more. Really cool one to me is Mystique, though. Just being able to change into anyone, just full access to anywhere you'd want to go, be able to see things that you know, behind the scenes at places and just kind of be like so covert and able to blend in to wherever based upon who you change into. Mystique would be a really good one. Plus, I'd be a hot blue babe. Like
You've never had experience being a hot.
I've never been a hot blue babe before.
So it's, that's check that off the list. This is hard for me to say. If we're talking strictly power sets, or we're talking just the morality, the actual person, you know what I mean? This is a tough one for me. I don't know why. Sandman has some pretty cool powers. Like,
Sure.
This is a tough question.
Powers sand, man.
But like the pretty strong powers right there. You sandblasting somebody could just rip their skin apart. Like, you know what I mean? Or I don't know. That's I don't know why that just came to mind. I'd have to put more thought into it though. So I'm sorry, Josh. Please don't be mad at me.
I see you as more of the Blob from X-Men.
Right, because I'm shaped as such.
You're right, yeah.
Right. Well, you know what? Stick with what I know best. You know what I mean? Like, obviously. So the Blob it is. Thank you very much for that, Joe. Moving on. Here we go. This is what I was researching. We're going to move on to Caleb. Ask Joe, Jeff, Dan, and Josh, do you guys get your bags and boards through the local comic shop or order online? Curious after watching Chris's IG live earlier. I didn't get to see that, but he really was disappointed with some bags and boards, I do believe. Just because it's easy for me, I always get them through Amazon. I paid as little as $20 for BCW. I just put the link in here. That's what I've been using.
Well, that's the longest link ever. It took up 3 messages, dude.
You're welcome.
You're a mess. It's not never gonna work.
I bet you will.
Anyway, I order online. I actually order directly.
Work, by the way, I just
did it. All right. I work directly. I order directly from BCW because if you do that, it's way cheaper. Now you have to have a dealer account, which fortunately Paul Bond has one. So we order all through him. Me and Mike, Pope of Chili Town, and Paul, we all order our stuff together. And we do such a big order that we actually get free shipping. Because if you order at least $1,000 worth of stuff at a time, we get free shipping. But like we're ordering like 5,000 bags and boards at a time and like dozens of long boxes. Now, I will say this. Whenever I need something a little bit extra, I go to my LCS for it. If I need, if I'm like running low on something, I'll go grab it for 2 reasons. 1, always good to have stuff on hand. 2, always good to support the LCS. They make a little bit of money off of that. They're a retail store. I don't know if they sell bags and boards for, I forget, I think it's like $25 for 100 bags and 100 boards. They probably pay $15 for it. So it's not a huge amount, but helping out those, small local businesses is always good. If you're not buying high quantities of stuff, support your local comic shop. That's my opinion. If you're buying larger quantities, obviously you can save yourself a lot of money by ordering online.
I do support my local comic shop by buying the comic books, but my problem is I'm almost like, damn, I need more bags and boards, and it's like, boom, I get them the next day. You know what I mean?
You know what I just heard? I'm Jeff, and I hate small businesses.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark from All Yet Comics. I am never going to shop from you again. Everything from Amazon for sure. And yeah, keep that in mind too. Like if you're ordering in bulk, obviously ordering through BCW and even having that, what's it that Bond? Paul Bond has. He has a what?
He has a dealer account.
Okay, so yeah, having that obviously helps big time. So, all right, we're going to move on to the next question, which is a live one from the judge himself, aka Dan De La Torre. Welcome, sir. How are you? What is your question for Ask Joe?
This was a video that happened about a week or two ago. It dovetailed with Swagglehoss commenting on it. It was originally David from Comic Book Investments, and he had sent 100 slabs back to be reslabbed, thinking that they would get a higher grade. Now, the majority of these were CGCs, but there was quite a number of CBCS slabs. And the bottom line was that out of the 100 or so, with each company, he noticed that the CBCS slabs were graded much lower. They were stricter grade and so forth. And the CGC ones were graded a little bit higher. But each ones he sent back, roughly 75%, all came back a higher grade. Some came back the same or somewhat lower. Swagglehoss dovetailed off of that. And he was saying, it's interesting how, well, he didn't say this, but he said a number of things. But it used to be in the old days that CBCS was accused of being too lenient on some of these grades, but now that seems to have turned around because again the ratios were unmistakable. A 75% increase in a grade bump from the new CGC was notable. But one thing Swag didn't mention in his piece was that this has been over a year since CGC fired all their silver and golden or bronze age graders, and so they've made an adjustment. So what I took away from both pieces, especially David from Comic Book Investments piece, was that it's changed at CGC. They're now grading at a much lenient state, which is something they didn't used to do. The roles have switched, as I've said. And what Swagglehoss pointed out was a very, very good point. If you're sending in these grades to CGC and getting a higher bump, let's say you get a 7.5, now you get an 8 or 8.5, or even higher on some of these things, the customer is going to like it. It's, in quote, going to be more valuable. But what Swagglehoss failed to mention was that if you're grading at a more lenient rate, you're actually not grading accurately. Again, CGC started their life as a very strict grader, very accurate grader. That's how they built their company. They built strength and trust along the way. Now that's gone because, again, it's been taken over by Blackstone. They've made changes, and as I said, they got rid of their bronze and gold, silver age graders because most of that stuff was bronze and silver age stuff here that was sent back. My point is this: is that I've been one of the biggest critics since Blackstone took over CGC. It's no longer what you cannot. They're watering down the accuracy of what the comics are is the whole point here. If it's a 9.0, then it comes back a 9.6. Something's very wrong here. In the end, it's not going to hurt short term because people want what they want. They want a higher grade. Of course, it's more valuable for them on paper. But in the end, this is not going to end well. If you have inaccurate grading, and now CBCS, and also our friends EGS, Tony is a very, very strict grader. But you may not like the strict grade because it's a lower grade, but it's an accurate grade. And CBCS seems to be falling into that. And I'll end on this because I want your feedback and your overall opinion of this. Now, with later on this year, with PSA coming into the market, what are they going to do? How is this going to affect? How accurate are they going to be? So it's watering down the accuracy of a comic is just, this defeats the whole purpose. In the end, it's like we're coming around full circle. When I was a kid, all you had was your Overstreet guide, your comic, and whoever you're selling it to or you're buying from whatever person, you have to agree upon the grade, agree upon the price, whatever. Now that CGC is apparently watering down the reliability of these grades, it's going to affect the market long term. So having presented all that, what's your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, we need to go back to something. Kate said it here before I could even say it, because this is something I watched this video too. And this was specifically books that Dave from Comic Book Investment, who is a longtime professional comic book dealer, he identified them as being books that could get a bump. These are not random slabs that were sent back or something like that. If it had been random slabs that had been sent back and 75% of them got bumps, that's a problem. I totally agree with that. But these were books that were by a stone cold professional, whether you like him or not, because I know a lot of people have their opinions about him, myself included. This is someone with a lot of experience and that can identify a book that he may think was graded too harshly. So again, not a very fair situation here. I have seen it equal both ways. Books getting cracked from CGC and getting sent to CBCS, which you don't see nearly as often, but when you do, you often see grades go up, grades go down. Same thing with vice versa. Grades go up, grades go down. I've even seen old CGC slabs cracked. Some get a grade bump, some don't. It's totally a situation based upon the individual books. I have not noticed, as someone who's been buying graded comics for over a decade and been submitting for myself for the past 5 years and watching other people submit for 5 years, I have not noticed a change in CGC's grading.
Do you resubmit?
Yes, not very often, because I tend to when I submit stuff, I tend to get the grades that I want. Now I have actually a stack of books that I think are grade bump candidates. Now, some of these were graded in a time before pressing and cleaning was common. That's one thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that a lot of what people do when they crack, press, and resubmit, they'll get slabs that were slabbed in the early 2000s before pressing was a common thing and before certain pressing techniques were widespread and known. A lot of those books, there are pressable defects that might be extinguishable, and if so, that can increase the grade, on the back end. So there's that as well. I don't think that CGC has been grading more leniently. I have not seen that from my own submissions, from my friends' submissions. I've actually seen people have a hard time getting 9.8 on modern books. That's kind of one thing that I've noticed recently is, and maybe this is just a more of a just one grader that is being harsh with it. That's a modern grader or whatever. I don't really care too much about grading modern books, so this doesn't affect me, but I'm talking about for the older stuff that I send in, the pre-75 stuff, and even the, bronze and copper age stuff, I'm not seeing a difference.
Well, let me dovetail what Derek just said here regarding the 9.9s and the 10s. It seems like, again, I'm not a professional grader, but it seems like CGC has moved the goalpost a little bit easier, because some of those 9.9s, and people have looked at them, in particular that giant size X-Men 1, no one thought that was a 9.9, let alone a 9.8. So again, there's more questions than answers.
Yeah,
there's no accurate. There's no. And David didn't do this to comment or to criticize CGC. Swaggle sort of did. I certainly am. There's more doubt than reliability as far as I can tell in the grading service today.
The whole thing with 9.9s and 10s is we're getting way more modern variant covers with cardstock and foil covers that are much easier to get 9.9s and 10s, and modern square bound books like Last Ronin and stuff like that are just easier to get 9.9s and 10s. So they're popping up. We're not seeing Batman Adventures 12 in a 9.9 or a 10 pop up. There are 0 on the census. There have always been 0 on the census of that book. There's 1.99 of X-Men 4, First Omega Red, 1.99 on the census of that book. And there have not been any. There was a 9.9 that was graded 3 years ago or so, and there has not been one since. I don't see them grading vintage comic books at 9.9 and 10 any higher than they are. And I'm checking censuses on common books. First Carnage, first Spawn 1, the Spider-Man 1 McFarlane. Those books are, the census is going up a normal amount. On the 9.9s and 10s, which there are a couple copies of. There's actually a bunch of 9.9s of some of those more common ones. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't think they're getting more lenient. I just think that more people are sending in books that are easier to get 9.9s and 10s with, because there's so many variant covers nowadays that are getting foil cardstock covers.
I
Jeff,
think
what's
that's fair
it?
too. I definitely think that's fair because it is easier to get
Mhm.
higher grades with that quality paper.
Yeah.
I also
And I just want one more thing is CGC has their problems.
Mhm.
They're having their problems with turnaround times now. They've had their problems with quality control, their pricing, multiple pricing increases and things like that. All of this obviously stemming from BlackRock. But like I said, I don't think it's actually changing their grading. That is not something that I'm seeing. Errors with it, sure, more errors than there were before, but I'm not seeing, their actual grading consistency going down.
I do want to say too, like again, you guys are more in the game of getting things graded than I am. I like reading moderns. I like collecting, older books as well. But I'm not as actively as a participant in terms of searching for graded comics and sending them in. I do want to say this, and I know you alluded to this a little bit, Joe. And that person that you mentioned, Invest Comics, David.
Yeah.
For me, the content he's put out, I don't see him as any sort of a reliable source on anything other than self-serving.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I really don't take anything with a grain of salt with what he says. Now, well, I take it with a grain of salt, but
Yeah.
in terms of Swags, love the guy, right? I don't know if they co-produced this or Swagahaas was
No.
piggybacking on his commenting and giving his opinion, which is fine. Swags, love Swags, and I trust that guy, with my life. No, I don't know him that well, but you know what I'm saying. But again, and what Kate was saying too, the sample size or the grouping of the things that he sent in,
Yeah.
it really doesn't back up the theory. It's not a sound theory based off of the evidence, if that makes sense. So, yes, I will take a bullet for Mickey. No doubt about that. He knows that too, by the way. But anyways, I just wanted to throw that in right there. Other than that, I don't. BlackRock, it was just not, obviously. Blackstone. I do this all the time. Obviously, they saw an opportunity, especially with the pandemic, and jumped into this game. Not the greatest kind of partner you'd want buying a company like this, but again, we'll see. Joe has mentioned a few times about this 9.9 and 10s. The evidence still isn't showing it. I think he even said this a little over a year ago, Joe, about time will tell if these new graded 9.9s and 10s. And I think we're starting to see that trend from when you said that.
Yeah, and like I said, with the vintage books that really matter in this situation, haven't seen more of them.
This is a good point from Tishu, by the way.
Yeah.
Save your money until there is technology doing the grading, which is probably very close. 99% of the grade seems to come from the cover anyways. What's the point? I do believe this, though. Technology will eventually, sooner rather than later, be able to do something like this. So
Sure. Well, yeah, and with comics, most of the grade does come from the cover. I don't know if it's quite 99%, but at least 80% comes from the cover because that's where most of the flaws are. Most of the inside of the book, even old books, are fairly protected unless something is ripped or cut out or creased or anything like that, or there's like a foreign substance on it or it gets wet. The majority of the damage is just going to be reader damage that's mostly like from the outside, the cover getting creased rather than anything interior happening. So I understand why that is the majority of the grade.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dan, as always, a great live question. We're going to move on to these other questions here. We'll see you a little bit later in the show, Judge. All right. Moving on. Who do we have here? Where are we? I guess Derek Neiman, right? This is a good question right here. Ask Jeff and Joe.
Ooh, opposite order.
Love it. What's the best U.S. con for actual comic digging for back issues? A Comic-Con, not pop culture con, and not just walled books. All right. I'm not as much of a convention goer as Joseph is. I will say though, I don't. Could you, Derek, if you get a chance, please let us know where you live. That would help us out here immensely. The smaller cons are where it's at. Like, honestly, on the East Coast with Terrific Con, which is a huge convention, it does have a little bit of the pop culture elements in it, but it's mostly comic books. a smaller one was the one we reviewed 2 weeks ago, King Kong. That is a fantastic show. The Elite Comics 11 show, the first one they did probably a month ago now, outstanding. So those smaller type of cons are the ones you're going to want to check out. So see what's around in your market, your area. Again, we'd love to know where you live, where you're from. Maybe we can help you out in finding something. And maybe people in the chat here too are within the same area or know of places for you to check out. Joe?
Yeah, so my favorite of the big ones is Baltimore Comic-Con. Whereas, like, obviously New York is much, much bigger, but like ones like New York and Terrificon have gone more the way of, having a lot more pop culture stuff and things like that. Baltimore remains mostly comics, which is nice. Terrificon is up there as well. As for like the medium sized ones, I've been talking about how great King Kong is and how I love doing that show every year and buying stuff at that show every year. And then for smaller ones, man, whatever local one you can go to, support those. Maybe go set up at those, buy stuff from other dealers at those, or buy stuff yourself if you're an attendee there. Those are the ones that like really get the community ball rolling. Obviously the best small one is Back Deck Comic Fest. Shout out to me. No, but seriously, those community events are all so good, especially when they're very comic focused. I did go to one today that was comics. It was all collectibles. So like it was far less than 10% comics, but they had a little bit of everything. So if you're into coins and sports memorabilia and Pokemon cards and records and knickknacks, everything, they had so much stuff, toys and figures. Yeah, always support your local shows when they're available.
Yep, for sure.
And if they're not, book them yourself.
Yeah, book one yourself. Go for it. It's easy. Back Deck Comic Fest. It's super easy. Joe does that whenever he wants. All right, moving on. We got Goonish Lurker. I don't know why I stumbled over your name. I've said it 100 times at this point. Ask Joe, why is it that those old Dark Horse Aliens titles still retain value to this day? I saw Lexi posted, by the way, Lexi is Spud. Lexi posted a claim page with some on there, and it reminded me that those seem to be sought after.
Yeah, I mean, any intellectual property that is popular is going to have some value to it because you're going to get non-comic book people that want to buy it because they're fans of Aliens or Predators or Star Wars or, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street stuff. All of those IPs that have other communities around them. Wrestling is another one. There were a bunch of wrestling comics in the 90s and people go crazy for them. Same with video games. Video game comics have become super popular in the last couple of years, especially as people have started grading and collecting video games more. So, any of those IPs that have like a movie tied to them or something like that, video games, whatever, always things that are a little bit more sought after than, random XYZ books. And the first appearance of Aliens in comics was in the Dark Horse Aliens run from the 1980, 88 maybe? I forget what year exactly. But one of the early Dark Horse runs.
Yeah, that's a great question, and Joe couldn't have answered it any better. There is a lot of collectability to things that are in different medias, whether it be TV, whether it be film, whether it be video games. I mean, you're seeing like the announcement of Legend of Zelda film did some nice things to that book as well. Those are the types of things, and that's probably the reason why. All right, moving on. If you haven't already, like and subscribe because it's a shame that you didn't. I like this question, and I know the answer for me. Ask Joe and Jeff and crew, which Punisher actor's portrayal was the most comic book accurate? Dolph Lundgren, Thomas Jane, Ray Stevenson, or John Barenthal?
If we're actually talking comic book accuracy, I wasn't such a fan of the movie, but I would say it is tied. John Barenthal kills it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the pain of that character. But Thomas Jane did a really good interpretation. The movie, not so good. not my favorite movie, but I actually thought that he did a really good job as just kind of being a version of that character. But yeah, those two are my top two. If I had to pick one, it's got to be John Bernthal. The amount of emotion that portrayal elicits is just, it's too good.
Now, the way I wanted to frame the question is, and Nukes, it's your question, right? So, but it's not even fair to compare the three other guys to John Bernthal, right? It's not even fair. So I wanted to remove John Bernthal out.
Sure.
And I'm going Thomas Jane as well.
Sure. Okay.
But I will disagree with you, Joseph. I thought that was a really good Punisher movie. I enjoyed it. The Ray Stevenson one was horrible.
No, that was the worst. That was worse than the Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, so bad. But Thomas Jane, I thought, crushed it as the Punisher. But John Bernthal he's made it his own. You know what I mean? Like, what's the 9 Inch Nails song? Hurt, right?
Yeah,
it's their song, but Johnny Cash kind of made it his own when he covered it. So
I recently found out that is a Johnny Cash covering a 9 Inch Nails song. I had always thought that 9 Inch Nails covered.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
That proves my point right there. That's incredible to hear that, because that's like an outside perspective that I didn't realize. Like, you know, I mean, obviously people have that,
right?
You're a music buff too, and it makes me happy to hear you say that, because it's Johnny Cash made it his own. And
yeah, no way. Dude, I was flying back from Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, and the guy next to me on the plane, who I talked with the entire plane ride, he was actually the runner-up on the 2011 season of Dancing with the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that, and yeah, he's like a like world-class ballroom dancer. And now we follow each other on Instagram and stuff.
That's fantastic for you.
It's wild.
I mean, you got that in with world class, being a ballroom dancer now.
Yeah.
It's been your dream for a while. All right, we have one more question here for Ask Joe. From our good friend Justin, aka Raising Elm. Joe, do you think Cap died in the Infinity War after being punched by Thanos and was brought back to life with the Time Stone when Thanos used it on Vision? Jeez, man, that's a tough one.
I without rewatching the movie and thinking about this, I can't answer this question.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it too.
Possibly. I don't know. This is something I'd have to do some research on.
I'd have to watch again and take that in, because I guess what happened was he got punched. You don't see Cap again until after the whole Time Stone thing happens with the Vision. I don't know. Got to see how severe that punch was. I don't remember. I want to go. It's a good question though, Justin, and I have to go check that out. Nucking Futz, by the way, if I could wave a magic wand, it would be Frank Grillo as the Punisher. You know what? That would be great casting too.
Sure.
I think he could. I don't know if he could pull off the range that Bernthal has in terms of just what you're talking about, eliciting that emotional response, but he's got the looks. He's got the chops, I think. I mean, you can't really recast him now at this point. But right there, that ends this wonderful segment that we call Ask Joe, Ask Joe, Ask Joe, 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 Ask Joe, whoa, and Jeff. Love it. All right, everybody, like and subscribe if you have not done so already. We are entering the home stretch of comic book canon. That's right, the home stretch. Here we go, Joe. Stretch it out, loosen up.
I'm pumped.
Fired up. We're going to get into a Did You Know? And when we come back, Joe's going to have some interesting thoughts about what has been said in this Did You Know? Did you know that Batman and Batwoman got married? Kind of.
Did you know Batman and Batwoman got married? Well, kind of. In Batman 122, readers were treated to a wild ride where Bruce Wayne and Kathy Kane, aka Batwoman, get married. But what starts as a romantic shift quickly spirals into classic Silver Age chaos. Dick Grayson is immediately rattled by the wedding and fears it'll disrupt the dynamic duo's crime-fighting partnership. Bruce finally reveals his double identity, and Kathy is thrilled, until the very next day when Bruce literally hides her costume and tells her to stay home. Classic 1950s logic, complete with Batman outright saying that a woman's place is in the home, but Batwoman isn't having it. She alters one of Batman's suits and joins the next mission anyway. A villain activates a wind machine, blowing off her cowl and exposing her identity. The crooks immediately deduce that Batman is Bruce Wayne, since Kathy is his fiancée, and Robin goes full drama mode, accusing Kathy of destroying Batman's entire career. Then a twist! Dick wakes up. It was all a dream. Bruce had just come home from a date with Kathy, and nothing had actually happened. So, what do you think? What would a Batman and Batwoman marriage have really looked like in the 1950s? Let us know in the comments. And can you imagine what Batman's bachelor party would have looked like? Yeesh!
I love that. He is hammered. Joe, you had some thoughts when we were talking in there.
Yeah, it was kind of another little did you know that Batwoman, she actually was created because the media was buzzing about potentially Batman and Robin being a gay couple. And, people, obviously at the time, that was a much more taboo kind of situation than it is now. Definitely still taboo, though, because he was like an adopted teenager, and Batman's a full-grown adult. So that obviously that's a reasonably taboo part. But the Batwoman was created for that reason. And obviously back then, 50s and 60s, and, even beyond that, there was a lot of stereotyping and, woman's places in the house kind of thing with this character. There's a cover. Oh, it's such a good cover. It's so indicative of the times. And it's Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, and Batman and Robin are like fighting off some villains, and Batwoman's like, I can't help you guys. I have a runner in my stocking. And it's so ridiculous, such a ridiculous cover. But yeah, it's so funny.
We love doing these did you knows. Love the insights too that follow up with it at times. If you have a topic or something, hit us up on the DMs in the Instagrams, and we'll consider doing it. Love searching for stories. That's the fun part of this whole thing and putting them together. All right, moving on. We have our final segment of the episode. It's always fresh from the comic shop. We want to reiterate again that our sponsor for Fresh from the Comic Shop, Crafty Comics, they are going out of business. They had their last day of purchasing their product on the 31st. We are so kind of heartbroken about it because their product it was the best out there, in my opinion. Joe, you said you recommended them all the time.
Yeah.
So we'll have by the end of this week 3 months to fulfill in terms of prizes. We're figuring this all out. We just want to say that because in this the segment pre-roll here where we do the open, we still mention Crafty Comics, but that is not the case. Just want to make that clear. We'll hopefully get this fixed by next episode, which is next week. But here, if you don't know anything about Fresh from the Comic Shop, which is probably crazy, 13 million of you are watching now, as you always do. Here are the rules, so please just pay attention. Thanks.
Fresh from the comic shop, your collection's treasures ready to pop. It's time to share, don't let it flop. Fresh from the comic shop, take a shot, make it bright, give it style and flair. Show a book that's unique, something rare out there. Tell us why it matters, what's the story behind. Pull at our heartstrings and you'll surely shine.
Sponsored by Crafty Comics, where collections flex their style. Museum quality slabs and displays with 99% UV protection, because your fresh gets deserved the spotlight.
from the comic shop. That is right. We are here. It's great. We are in the Book of the Year tournament for 2024, and we have hit our final four for this tournament. So we're going to reveal that right now with bracket A. Starting off with bracket A, we will have this week, it's Mike Haggs versus Dr. Plagueis. That is going to be a tough one, Joseph. I'll tell you what, they all bring the heat. They all bring a lot of people that vote for them. So it'll be a fun one to watch. We will launch that this week. And then Joseph, for bracket B, we have, excuse me, Super Crispy versus Kaboom. They both are friends. They live in San Diego. I hope it doesn't ruin their friendship, Joseph.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, Super Crispy's book was drawn by Kaboom.
How crazy is that? Like, honestly,
Super Crispy, Kaboom is basically going up against himself. He honestly is in a kind of a win-win situation where it's either it's his submission or it's his artwork that wins. So I'm sure he's going to be happy either way.
If his artwork wins. I mean, he wins because he's getting the recognition.
Right. I feel like that's as good. I feel like that's as good as winning.
It is. He did say in a chat today that he's going for the prize, which, by the way, let's just mention it right now. Oh, I forgot to upload it. Damn. EGS and Spider Dude. Actually, I'm going to try and do that right now. Joseph, why don't you do a little freestyle real quick?
Do you want me to just show you my first fresh get of the week instead?
Why not? Do that. Go for it.
Okay. First fresh get of the week. Where is it? It's right here. Okay. Another addition to my pre-code horror collection. Jeff, you forgot you're supposed to. Okay, there we go. Thanks. This was picked up last week at One Day Comic Expo in New Jersey. This was a trade cash situation. Somebody came along and I had a book that they wanted and they were like, would you do a trade? And I said, yeah. They pulled some stuff out. This was one of the books they pulled out. Now, this is worth much more than the book that they got from me, so I had to give them a couple $100 in cash as well, but totally worth it. Vault of Horror number 26. This awesome, zombie hands coming out of the ground situation.
That's a really cool cover.
It is. It's cool perspective. We're like at ground level here. We're looking up at this car in the background. There's a creepy old fence, and then we got the classic, horror characters, the storytellers on the side.
I love the hands coming out of the concrete look. That's really, really cool looking.
It's a Johnny Craig cover, one of the more popular EC artists, but
very cool, man.
In solid condition. They had this at a 5.0. I actually think that it might be a little bit higher, might be like a 5.5, but we'll see. Probably end up getting it graded eventually.
That's nice. Well, I appreciate you covering up here for my mistakes, as you always do. Is that right, Joseph? Again, Spider Dude and EGS, very generous. They have been with us for a while for Fresh in the Comic Shop, not in 2025, other than the big book of the year. And we have this wonderful Wolverine number 55. Speaking of EC Comics, this is a homage cover, and it is amazing right there. So I do have to say that Kaboom he's gunning for this book, and sure, he'll love the recognition if Super Crispy's book wins because he drew it. But I mean, this cover is amazing. All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna get this started here with all you fine people. First off, I just want to say the February winner was Dr. Plagueis, actually. And the January winner was Mons Comics. We will announce the March winner, hopefully next episode when we get all the voting done. There's a lot of voting going on. First up actually is Kaboom Comics. Here we go. Kaboom. Comic book community and family. Guess what I found inside the pages of this beautiful Thor 411. Thor battles the unstoppable juggernaut. Let me move it on to the next page, by the way. Here's the example of the cover art with the title of The Amazing Spider-Man Presents. Acts of Vengeance. Weird how they had Amazing Spider-Man Presents. Also in this issue, first appearance of the New Warriors. They also saved the day. Thor fails to beat the Juggernaut. Enjoy, comic book family. So yeah, I guess there was that book inside the book. Is that
it's so he got the Spanish printing.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, they used, a lot of times Spider-Man was used to sell other books.
I got you. Okay.
So popular. Yeah.
Damn, even in like the late 80s and 90s. That's interesting.
Cool.
That's really cool though. Well done there, Kaboom. Next up, good friend of the show, who's actually on the show. His name is Josh's Comics.
Oh, what a guy.
Yo, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Daredevil 11, first appearance of Muse, a serial killer whose victims are used as his art. Daredevil number 14, the first appearance of Muse. So I guess 11 is the cameo. Daredevil Born Again has been phenomenal so far. It took a few episodes. We finally got Matt back in the suit and just as brutal and violent as ever. A few years back, it was rumored that Muse might potentially be on the show. Once it was confirmed, I was excited to see his on-screen debut. He's definitely a unique villain, and so far he's been a welcome addition. Fun fact, I got issue 14 at a local comic shop for only $2.50 and issue 11 and another for only $5. This is my Fresh from the Comic Shop book of the week. Well done, Josh. Josh has gotten so much better at this because remember he used to put the comic books right next to his dirty toenails?
Yeah, I do remember that on his grandma's bath mat.
So gross. I don't have any fresh gets of the week. I was going to go yesterday and I just never got around to it. And I am just a failure. Joe, what's your second fresh get of the week?
Second fresh get of the week. A lot of you saw this already because I did post it on Instagram and various other places. But this right here is a cool one. This is the most expensive comic I've ever owned. This was in a collection I just bought recently. This is Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 17. It is a 9.8 from 1942. In fact, it is the oldest Disney 9.8 in existence. And there are only a few 9.8s that are older than this. There's only a few other books. I haven't counted exactly how many. I gotta get the count on that. But yeah, this oldest 9.8 Disney book, definitely the oldest book I have ever owned that's in a 9.8. And the most expensive comic that I've ever owned. So it is not one. I wish I collected Disney because this is such a cool piece, but it is one that is up for sale right now.
You know, it's crazy how we say unique doesn't mean $30,000.
That's not 30,000, but it's.
I understand what I'm saying though is
90,000. Yeah,
it's 9.8, and it's unique, right? It's unique. So
it's so unique. Yeah,
that's
1942.
Really cool. Great pickup right there. Moving on, we got Mark Lineker, bringing back the nostalgia here. Earthworm Jim, number 1 from 1995. It's a newsy as well. Short-lived, scarce Marvel series featuring the galactic annelid hero. 90s kids and gamers made him a star, now celebrating his 30th anniversary. Where does the time go? Early work by Dan Slott and a great cover by Barry Crane. Joe, man, this game, I freaking loved it. Just like the animation. It felt like the first time, it felt almost like it was you were playing a cartoon.
Yeah, you ready for this? Hold up. Yeah. Way cool. That was pretty good, right?
That's great. But yeah, man, this game was so much fun. And this is a unique book, wouldn't you say, Joe?
Yeah, I loved Earthworm Jim 2. And then Earthworm Jim 2 for Super Nintendo, and then Earthworm Jim 3D for Nintendo 64 were two of my favorite games as a kid. This is awesome. Very unique book. The fact that it's a newsstand is awesome.
Yeah,
definitely has some nostalgia and a great presentation there as well.
Really is, Mark Lineker. Really is, I have to say. Moving on, we have Mike Haggs. We got Mike Haggs here. I like this here, what he's done here as well. I've been wanting to get into this Bendis Marvel Knight Daredevil run. First appearance of the White Tiger. Angela Del Toro scooped this up, even though I can't lie, I'm a little disappointed with episode 7. No spoilers, but we see where they're going with Angela going to be the new White Tiger. That's a little bit of a spoiler. But yeah, I love the presentation here. I'm interested in reading this as well. This is issue number 69 though, it says.
Nice.
Oh, I see what you did there. I guess it's Angela's first appearance. So that's a good get right there for sure.
That's awesome.
All right, moving on. Joseph, you only have one more fresh get, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, moving on. We got good friend of the show and also alumnist of the show, Journo's Comics, and I got to say, I love this. I do. I'm a Spider-Man fan myself. Last week, I was able to come one step closer to completing my bucket list challenge that has so far been a life journey spanning almost 40 years. Amazing friend of the channel, Comic Guru 1972, reached out to me because he knew I am on a mission to complete my Grail run. Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1. He had a beautiful copy of this issue, number 10, the first appearance of the Enforcers. He offered it to me at a price that was extremely reasonable. Even still, I currently do not have the financial stability or ability to drop any real money on a comic book. So what did he do? He told me he would hold on to it for me and allow me to make payments on it at my own pace. Well, it took over 5 months to finally pay him in full, but he kept his word, and now I am the proud owner of one of the original iconic Ditko Lee Spidey keys of all time. And I'm only 14 books away from completing the run. I couldn't have done it without amazing people that also believe in the dream. Joseph, I love the story. I love the presentation here. I mean, come on, dude. This presentation.
Great book. Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's very well done. I really like what he's done here.
This is the epitome, but he's recused himself. So he's not in the running.
How has he recused himself?
One time he was in the chat and he was like, I can't win from the comic shop.
I don't know, man, because that's a contender right there. And
that is the contender all day, and people should definitely learn from it. Absolutely.
We'll have to talk about this.
The
judge has
I'm going to weigh in and say that Journos does qualify.
I tend to agree with that. I don't remember that conversation, but
I thought I had remembered that. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong.
Here's
but
the deal.
It's a good book, but we still got
contender. We'll see what happens at the end of the show, and then the judge will make any sort of recommendations that he needs to. Thank you, Judge. Okay. All right. We got journals. We got Raising Elm. Justin always does a fantastic job with these books right here. There he is. Comic fam, during spring break, I made a journey across state lines to visit a store I'd never been to before, Excalibur Comics. I was blown away by their massive collection of books they had available for sale. Hours passed as I flipped through box after box of comics, slabs, and magazines. I thought about all of you guys as I came across the issues of Thunderbolts. That's got to be Nora Jordan, I'm pretty sure. Pre-Code Horror, Joe, probably you. G.I. Joes, maybe that's me. Batman Adventures, I would think that's Joshua. Early DC Superman, probably Dan, etc. However, I was focused like the sights on the Punisher's rifle. A man on a mission. I was here to do some trading. One of the many pieces I picked up with my newly acquired store credit was a copy of Marvel Previews number 2 presents Punisher. Super stoked to have another Punisher key in the PC. Much love, comic fam. Yo, this looks awesome. It looks like it's like being thrown through a window.
Yeah, very cool.
I love this. Justin, you always leave. Well, me personally. Oh, wait, there's like blood in the background too, I think. Really well done, Justin. Really, really well done as always. Again, if you guys are looking for notes on how to do some things with your fresh gets, we've seen a few of them tonight. So just want to throw that out there.
P.S. Kaboom, I need to show off what you gave me. I don't have it with me right now, but next show I'm going to show off because I actually bought a book from Kaboom a couple weeks ago. And he threw some freebies in there, and these are some sick freebies. So I need to show those off next show.
Here's the deal, though. We need to know from Kaboom. Do you feel, since you're going up against Super Crispy, which is the book that you did the cover for?
Yeah.
Do you feel like either way you win? Please let us know, honestly. Thank you. All right, moving on. We have Nori Jordan. By the way, Nori Jordan has stepped up his game in the past year as well. And I love this book. I love it. This week, I was excited to attend a Little Giants convention. By the way, he was trying to get us to go up there. But some life events almost prevented it. I was a bit distracted and only purchased 7 books. Luckily, on my way out, I found a nice copy of Daredevil 16. This is a book I have wanted for a long time, so it is a welcome addition to my collection. I'm slowly picking away at my Daredevil Volume 1 collection, but there seems to be a hit show that is driving some prices up. Take care, everyone. Joe, this is another good one, man.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, the other 6 books that he picked up were all Thunderbolts #1s.
Yeah, shocker. Shocker for
Also,
sure.
fun fact about this book, this is the first time John Romita drew Spider-Man.
Yep. I didn't know that actually too. Look, that cover's freaking awesome. I love that cover. Actually, I saw one of those at Elite 11, Elite Comics Expo 11 something. And I pulled Alicia over. I was like, I want this book. But I just couldn't pull the trigger. Anyways, moving on. We have you know what? I don't have it up here. Comic Demon had a nice book as well. And I did not put it in there. That is my fault. Nukes Comics. Fresh from the comic shop. Invincible Iron Man 83. Someone is impersonating Iron Man. Will the police detect who's pretending to be the Shellhead? Meanwhile, Tony Stark is attacked by the Red Ghost super apes who are after his tech. Amazing Herb Trimpe artwork. I picked this up in a Whatnot auction hosted by Erod, who says run fills can't be fun filled. Good stuff indeed. Nukes, we always love your submissions. We always love your questions. And this is another great one. Do you think Herb Trimpe did the cover here? It really has a Ditko vibe look going on here with like the shading on the armor.
A little bit. I did bring up Comic Demons if you need it up on the screen.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's do that. That is the one. It was a DuckTales ash can right there.
Darkwing Duck.
Forgive me, please. If you ever can, please forgive me. That's not Bryan Adams' song. Please forgive me. Anyways, I don't have what he said though.
Oh, I do right here.
Oh wait,
Boom.
no, I do. New comics from December, a lot to post, but I thought that the Darkwing ash can would be a fun one to post, and it certainly was. Thank you for that, Comic Demon. Joseph, it's time for your last fresh get of the week.
All right, this is a PC book. Oh, no, I'm not blurry. Okay, good.
I can't wait for you to set up your new computer, by the way.
I know, I still haven't. Did you know that?
The only way I knew it is because it wouldn't refocus, but please continue.
Yeah, I've had a laptop sitting downstairs for almost 2 months now.
Brand new Apple laptop, but go ahead.
Yep. Anyway, new book for my PC. This was picked up at One Day Comic Expo last weekend. This was my one like big personal collection buy for myself. And it's a good one. You might remember a couple weeks ago, I picked up a Batman 6 and I was really stoked about that. Well, I got his brother, Batman 7, right here. Beautiful cover on this. Look at that purple background. And then the bullseye on the background of the cover. Nice big old 10-cent. Issue number 7. If you remember, the Batman 6 was a 5.5. Well, guess what? Same with this.
Damn, dude.
Off-white to white pages, which I love seeing. I tend to not go worse on my Batman stuff. I don't like it worse than off-white. So off-white to white is fine by me. I just don't want anything like cream or tan. But holy moly. Stoked. Now I have 3 Batman single-digit issues. 2 of them are complete. And the 2 complete ones are both 5.5. So do I just kind of run the whole thing now and just try to get 5.5s of this book?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of seems like it, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
that's a great pickup. I'm so happy for you getting something like that as well. Yes. Anyways, I do have some updates here. That is our Trimpe cover right there. The judge has confirmed that, and kaboom! I'm happy either way. That is
we
very
love
nice
that.
of you to say. Nice of you to say for sure. All right. By the way, this community, amazing. You guys are fantastic, and we love you. Just want to remind you of that. All right. So we have quite a few here to choose from, and I have 1. I have 2, and I have 3. I have 3. I definitely have 3.
Let me say one of mine.
Go ahead.
Mark Lineker.
Yes, mine too.
Okay, that was on your list too. Mark
Absolutely,
Lineker.
100%.
Very unique book. Awesome little nostalgia story here, and a little bit of extra information that I love that he added with the that this is early work by Dan Slott. I did not know that. Dan Slott worked on a lot of this kind of stuff in the 90s before he, really took off with She-Hulk and Spider-Man in the 2000s. Great stuff. This checks boxes for me.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. And it just gives me all the feels with the nostalgia. Timeout though. Caleb, I did not see your submission. I don't know what happened there. We'll have to check that out for sure. If you sent it in after 5 p.m. Eastern time, I definitely didn't see it. So keep that in mind, everybody. But please resend it, and it'll be it'll be admitted.
It's funny. I'm actually not seeing anything from Caleb. His most recent post looks like it was from March 26th. So
Yeah.
Caleb, that was over a week ago, right? Yeah, that was over a week ago. So you might have like saved it in your drafts or something. But yeah, nothing there for you.
Hit us up though. We'll get that in for next episode. No doubt about that. All right. So you just did Mark Leneker. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Nori Jordan. Wait. Sorry. Let me just double check. God, this is the worst. I need to write this stuff down. Sorry. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I went Raising Elm.
Raising Elm. Okay. Yeah. That was definitely one of mine too.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So that was one of yours too. All right.
Yep.
So wait, do you have just 3 or do you have?
I have 3.
Okay. I have 3 too. I guarantee you I know what.
Yeah. The other one is Chris, Journo's Comics.
Uh-huh.
Is that your third as well? So we have the same 3. We overlap on all 3 of them here. Okay. Yeah. Man, they all check the boxes. I mean,
I am leaning heavily towards 1.
Okay.
And I'll say it, but let's bring the judge in first and Joshua. Your Honor, welcome again. Joshua, welcome. So as we proceed, Your Honor, I would like to submit for your review. For me, it's Journo's.
See, that would probably be my second place one.
Okay.
But I'm okay with going for it. I really like Mark Leneker's book.
Trust me, I do too.
Yeah. I really like that. And maybe this is more a little bit me being biased with my nostalgia for Earthworm Jim. But I love the presentation, the uniqueness, the little story and extra information that goes along with it. But I'm fine with going with Journos, especially because it's just such a nice story about the community.
And here's a problem too, and it may be the system, Your Honor. I know you deal with this a lot with the system, Your Honor. And what I like to say about the system is that Mark Leneker is still in the running for March.
True, that is true.
And it's a tough one for him not to be ineligible for that.
Yeah.
But this is why we pay you the big bucks, Your Honor.
What strikes me about the Journos book is that it echoes the deep love and passion we all have for comics, which is why we're all here in the first place. This is something that meant an awful lot to him. And, I can relate where I'm in the process of buying a very deep Braille book. It's costing me quite a bit, but I'm making payments on this thing because, again, the deep love and passion, or else I wouldn't do it. So, but the thing is, he did it. He followed through, but Chris followed through with it. He was tenacious and again he wanted something. He had a goal. He said it, and he's succeeded in this. So I can't help but applaud his efforts for achieving something he really, really passionately wanted.
No, for sure. Again, and kudos to him. He's adamant about getting this thing done. But that leaves us again to you, Your Honor. Like Journos is my choice. If Joe had to pick, it would be Mark Leneker, but Mark Leneker still is in the running for March. So we have a little conundrum.
Yeah.
In what way?
That Mark Leneker is in the running for the March book. And Joe and I are both, we are at odds on which will be the top choice here.
I mean, no, I'm not at odds. I said that Chris was my second, and then given that the situation with Mark's and the fact that Chris's is just, it's such a good submission, awesome story about the community, I'm good with going with Chris's.
Jeff,
I'm thinking a problem out of nothing then.
What's your second below Chris's? Jeff, what's your second below Chris's?
I mean, I love the Mark Lineker book.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I think, Your Honor, respectfully, we have to go with Journos.
I'm in. I'm in on this. I'm in.
Joshua, do you have anything to say?
I think Chris is.
Oh no! What happened?
Oh, power failure. Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, big story.
But you know, to clarify, by the way, regarding Journos and his qualification or his this being a legit book for submission, that he's no longer, he was an official founding member of the canon, but is stepped away from his affiliation.
Eligible, yep.
But he's very much eligible. I just want to clear that up. So
I'm good with it.
I'm fine with this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just saying I'm good with it. Let's do it.
All right.
All right.
I'm going to rule on in this particular case. Journos is the winner. Case dismissed.
Christopher, you are moving on to the first semifinals of April. Congratulations. You'll be going up against next week's semifinalist as well. Here we are at the end of an episode 220. It's been a wonderful, wonderful episode. We love having you all here. Time is our most precious commodity, and you spending your time with us means the world to us. Speaking of spending time, next week we are back again, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, with a new member of the community. His name is Jackie's Comics. So come check him out. He does a lot of cool things on TikTok, helping new comic readers, easing them in and giving some great recommendations. I highly recommend following Jackie's right there. We'll be posting about him this coming week. But again, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific next Sunday. I love you guys all. Let's close this thing out as we always do. Joshua.
Great submissions tonight. Had some good fun, and lots of news and rumors are coming out and stuff. So had a great night. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and something's going on here with my screen.
What are you talking about? I don't see anything. To you, Joe?
It's normal.
So another great night, and appreciate everybody.
Missed Your Honor.
All right, this coming week, I'll be on Tony Sanders' The Hunt this Saturday at 6 o'clock Pacific, and then right afterwards, I'm doing double duty. Be on Spine Ticks right afterwards at 8 o'clock.
Woo!
And then with you guys back here on Sunday, 5 o'clock Pacific. Love you guys. Great show. It's an honor to be here. And thank you for everyone in the chat here. We can't do this without you.
Facts. Joseph.
It's been a busy month for me with multiple conventions. I'm glad to be through the thick of it. Still have 2 cons in March, but if you are in the area, Lehigh Valley Comic Con is next weekend, and then Super Jersey Comic Expo will be the last weekend of the month in New Jersey. I'm exhausted, but you know what? I'm still grinding through all of these cons and stuff. Appreciate everyone who's bought something recently. Last week my hot water heater died. After I just repaired it last year. Wow. So fun stuff. It's 11 years old, so it's time.
Did it blow up? You had a flood or anything?
No, fortunately, it's leaking a little bit out the bottom and still working.
Okay, good.
So, but I'm getting it replaced this week. So thank you for anyone who bought anything from me in the last couple weeks.
Duct tape, Joe.
Mostly going towards that.
Yeah, it fixes everything.
No.
All right. Again, people, we truly appreciate you. You are the gas that fuels this cannon right here. I always do that. But we'll be back again next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Until then, please be good to yourself, be good to others. Peace.